obviously, and I feel like maybe this year people might actually be able to wear costumes. I know that obviously last Halloween was a bit of a bust, but if you are going to be going out trick-or-treating or going to any Halloween events or anything like that, anything where you need a costume, I thought I would share some really easy and simple costumes that, especially if you are slightly more vintage inclined, you should be able to create using things that you already have. I've never really been a massive Halloween person. I think it's only the last couple of years. Even last year I was way more into Halloween than I ever have been before, which was super frustrating given the world climate. But I've never been someone who cares massively about costumes. In fact, I always really struggle to pull costumes together because I don't want to spend loads of money on getting something really elaborate and crazy that I'm just not going to really be able to wear again. I don't have the wardrobe space for that, okay? But I thought I can definitely think of a few costumes that you could do with very little effort and with having to buy only one or two simple things, or even having to buy nothing at all. So let's get started. Okay, so one of the first things I immediately thought of was a Pinup Witch. There are so many really cute costumes and photographs of old Hollywood stars or old Hollywood models posing in these really cute little Halloween sets, and so many of them would be super duper easy to recreate. Yes, they might not be instantly recognizable in the same way that like the Joker is, but it's still really cute and it's still obviously a costume. So the costume that I would put together for an outfit like this would be a really cute dress like this one. This is from Collectif. I think it's the Trixie dress, but any sort of sparkly or cute velvety, perhaps black or stripy, or this one has star and moon print on, dress or play suit or something like that would be really perfect. You can have either a witch's hat or you can carry around a broom, and I think what a really cute step would be is you can wear like little ruffled shorts or something underneath so that you are still quite covered, but to pin up the skirt and have a pair of stockings underneath, so it really gives you that pin-up vibe. I think that would be super duper cute. Would definitely recommend getting a good pair of seamed stockings in a really cute Halloweeny colour, so maybe green or orange or red. I will leave a link down below to the What Katie Did stockings, who are amazing. They are my favourite pairs of stockings ever. But Pinup Witch, you could also do, this works especially well if you're a dancer, a little Pinup Cat. So something like a simple black ballet leotard and fishnet tights and cat ears. This would be great if you are inside at some kind of house party or gathering or event, rather than something you would wear outside, because yeah, you'd probably be pretty freaking cold. Now, I feel like for any sort of fancier event especially, or something where you want to look a little bit more glamorous rather than kooky or scary, going as a Gatsby girl is a great option. Now, look, I love a really historically accurate and beautiful 1920s proper evening dress set as much as the next vintage girl, but I also love my bank account and I want it to continue loving me after this month. So if you have to go for one of the slightly less historically accurate but also slightly cheaper flapper-esque gowns, or if you already have, I've already had this for quite a few years, I have another gown that is really floor length, it's really beautiful. I would wear that for, say, like a performance or something. So if you already have quite an elegant evening dress that's quite 1920s or 1930s inspired, then you can pull off the sort of glamorous Gatsby girl look. This is something that really comes alive with the makeup and the hairstyling. So even if you don't have a super accurate or authentic dress, I think you can still swing it by going for like the pinned up hair, sort of finger waves, or perhaps a classic 20s style hat and some really beautiful makeup. Okay, it's even Halloween if nobody points out the elephant in the room. Yes, you can go as Marilyn Monroe as the girl in The 7-Year Itch. I have this beautiful Hell Bunny dress, which is heavily inspired by the dress that she wears in the film. I've never worn this as a costume because I just wear it out, genuinely. I just wear this in like my life, so I don't have to worry about wearing it as a costume, but it is quite an obviously easily recognizable one, and the dress is so pretty that you can re-wear it afterwards for any events or just when you're out having fun, so it is a good option. I will also point out that literally if you have blonde hair and any even remotely vintage style of white dress, people will probably call you Marilyn Monroe anyway. This happens to me all the time, so you don't have to necessarily worry about getting a completely accurate dress to Marilyn's. Another really great Marilyn Monroe costume idea that I don't see around very often but I think would be super easy to recreate is this one of her as, I believe the character's name is Rose in Niagara, which is one of her sort of more famous films. And the pink off the shoulder colour and the little tie front here, the bodycon shape, it's something that you could get even from a modern dress shop if you aren't really into the whole vintage thing or you don't own a dress like that. It would be something quite easy to pick up in a very similar way, and I think it's still quite a recognisable costume, or even if people don't recognise it immediately, when you explain they'll be like, oh yeah, of course, I've seen that photo of her. Do you have any fancy looking vintage white dress? Well, boy oh boy, are there lots of things you could do with that. I ended up getting this dress from eBay. It's an old Miss Candy Floss dress, and I think it genuinely might be supposed to be a wedding dress. I didn't realise it was so satiny when I bought it, and then it arrived and I was like, oh wow, this really is very wedding-like. But I could actually imagine this as a really great costume for Grace Kelly's character in High Society, you know, her wedding dress. How cute would that be? But any fancy looking white vintage dress, you can pull off a Bride of Dracula, Miss Havisham, Bride of Frankenstein. There are lots of sort of vintage ghostly bride looks that I feel like you could easily pull off. Even sort of a murderous bride or something like that, so having a little prop. Please do not use any actual sharp things, so proper knives, proper scissors or anything like that in Halloween costumes, because especially in environments where there's drinking and stuff, it's bound to go wrong. Please don't do it, people. Always, if you're going to use fake weapons, get ones from like B&M or Asda or Tesco's or Halloween shops, and I would also recommend that they look very obviously cartoonish, just because I know Halloween is supposed to be spooky, scary, but I don't think you want to actually genuinely alarm anyone, so that's just my opinion on that. Speaking of housewives, the Stepford housewife is a classic and time-honoured easy Halloween costume that you can achieve, and I would actually recommend going for the 1970s original Stepford Wives, and if you want to get an extra spooky touch in, the all black contacts that is revealed at the very end of the film, spoilers, would be a really cool touch. So whether you want to be more inspired by the remake costume design or by the original costume design, Stepford Wife would be a really easy and simple costume to pull off. Do you have a evening gown that is black in any way? Preferably floor length, but I would argue that if it is not quite floor length, you can still get away with it, and you can channel our queen and saviour, one Morticia Addams, queen of the film noir highlights. And as long as you have a beautiful dress and you can imitate her very winged out smoky makeup and red lips, I think Morticia is a fabulous, fabulous Halloween costume idea. I have to do a concert in November and we have to have black floor length dresses for that, and I'm, pardon me, seriously considering getting this one from British Retro. and that would be the most amazing Morticia gown in the world. And it's also, again, a gown that you can reuse. So if you've been looking at getting a black floor-length evening gown for perhaps corporate or work events or performing for quite a while, or just as a treat for yourself, and you're looking for a Halloween costume, 2 birds, 1 stone, simple. Of course, if you have a black dress that isn't floor-length like Morticia's and is more midi or knee length or even a little bit shorter, you can go as our baby queen Wednesday Addams, because all you need for that is to pale your face out a bit, have the classic 2 plaits down the side, and have your cute little black dress. And I think that's an instantly recognizable Addams Family costume as well. Bonus points if you get like a detachable hand and stick it on your shoulder. That would be so fun. Quite a cutesy little costume that you could do would be a character from Pleasantville, which is what I feel like I look like right now. So Pleasantville, in case you've never seen it, is from the 90s. It is one of my all-time favorite films in the universe, and it takes place in a fictional television sitcom called Pleasantville, and it's based on the idealized 1950s sitcom world. So everyone dresses very floofy, or sort of poodle skirts and sweater sets. You could be a 1950s cheerleader with a very high bouncy ponytail. Oh, I think it would be a really, really fun costume idea. And plus, if you're dressing sort of in any way vintage, people will tend to think that that's a costume in and of itself. I know I mentioned Pinup Witch and Pinup Cat, but really just any pinup girl, and I think you could have a lot of fun with props for this one. So I take a lot of inspiration from Gil Elfgren pinup images. I've used him as inspiration for photos before, and I love his work. I will stick a few ideas around me right now, but you could carry like a watering can, you could carry a little fake dog, you could you know, there are so many. You could carry a flower pot or something, and again, it's something like having a dress with your skirt pinned up so that it looks like your skirt has blown up in that very typical pin-up way. You could perhaps, if you have any stockings that have a ladder in them, keep them for this costume, and just that can be a little like, ooh, I laddered my stocking. And then for all of your Halloween photos, you can do really cute little pin-up poses. Oh my gosh, I think that would just be the cutest thing in the world. Of course, we can't let this costume video end without talking about the single world's easiest costume of all, and that is Bedsheet Ghost. I saw a video on Instagram, which I will link down below, because it honestly makes me like cackle every single time I watch it. It just puts a stupid little smile on my face, and it's a girl dressing as Bedsheet Ghost, but she sticks sunglasses on. It looks so funny. Oh, I can't. Yeah, so Bedsheet Ghost with sunglasses would be such an upgrade, or Bedsheet Ghost with a funny hat, or Deedly Boppers. Oh, yes, please, someone do that, someone do that. So those are all of my really, hopefully super easy Halloween costume ideas that don't take a lot of time and money and don't take a crazy amount of effort. I know that there are costume parties that you go to sometimes where you maybe don't want to go too out there, but you still want to look like you made an effort. So hopefully these will give you a lot of help. Let me know if you will be using any of these costume ideas, and if I gave you some ideas that you perhaps didn't have before. And please do remember to have courage and be kind, and may all of your dreams come true, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! I feel like even this could be a costume. I look like someone from Pleasantville. Obligatory lipstick check, because the amount of times I've been editing and spotted a little fleck of lipstick on my teeth does not bear thinking about. I'm being pulled in a new direction. If you keep insisting, I'll stop resisting. Just watch me pulled in a new direction. I could stay in the dark, just deny every spark, but the boy has a bark better far than his bark, and you know I'll bite